Hello,
Hey.
Hello, Uganda. Good evening, and welcome to 933 KFM. And this is the Hotseat. My name is Patrick Amar, and tonight we are looking into the matters affecting Uganda's opposition to UN. Retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, allegedly abducted from the Kenyan capital Nairobi, only to be produced in a Ugandan court. Instead of community prisons, he's heading to Luzera. Is Kenya having an extradition treaty with Uganda? What happened? How did he get arrested? And how did he end up in Uganda? He's facing allegations of possessing firearms. That's what we've had. But how about the violation of his right? But the people who arrested him in Kenya should have taken him to court in Kenya. And why did it take so long for somebody who was arrested on Saturday to be brought to court, military court, on Wednesday? My guest this evening, who's joining me online, is Vice President Eastern Uganda Forum for Democratic Change, Honorable Salam Musumba. Can you hear me, Salam?
Yes, I hear you loud and clear, my brother. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And we shall also be later joined in the studio by Mr. Godber Tumshabe from the Great Lakes Institute for Strategic Studies. We shall also be joined by Senior Presidential Advisor Moses Biarhanga, and we shall also be joined, hopefully, by Professor Gerard Karija. But I understand you were at the court martial today, and you saw Besigye, and then you are a lawyer yourself. Please bring us to speed on what you know and what has been going on, Salam.
Thank you very much, Kamara, my brother. And to all of you listeners, it's a great relief that we have retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye alive. Last evening, I thought we would wake up to the bad news that he had been treated like Khashoggi, sunk in a drum of acid never to be seen again, or like Benedict Kiwanuka, decomposing bodies somewhere else never to be found. Today is a very interesting day because we are dealing with a very bogus charge sheet, very bogus. Not worth the paper that is written on, and not worth the pigs that I saw all these overfed cats called generals and chairpersons of the court martial. Really not worth at all. It's an entire abuse of ourselves. And so what are the facts? Retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye was invited a month ago by Martha Karua for her book launch. And so
Martha Karua was, of course, a prominent Kenyan politician.
Yes, she is. Mm-hmm. And she chose Dr. Besigye as one of the panelists that will talk about the political landscape we are operating in. And so he left on Saturday morning, 4:30, early morning flight, to be in time and take rest and understand the environment in which they were going to do the work. The last communication we had was about 7 p.m. Saturday when he went missing. And that's how we got to know that he was to visit somebody at the address on Riverside. And next we know is that he's gone missing and the Kenyan government is saying nothing. So the manhunt we mounted, it was 2 days after, but we had got intelligence that he had been sighted in Makina, and so we wondered how could that be. Anyway, today the country has gotten first-hand information that yes, the government of Uganda, the security operatives, abducted him from Kenya. And it had become a pattern of the Ugandan government, rogue as it is turning, to abduct its citizens and get in the Kenyan government, abducting them and whisking them back to Uganda. For the young generation, this is news. But for us, it is a reminder of what we saw as we were growing up. When our parents, relatives would be kidnapped, abducted from Kakamega refugee camp, where many of our relatives had run for safety. They would be brought by GK, government of Kenya vehicles, and ransomed to Idi Amin. And so what we see today is a repeat of what Kenya is best at. kidnap and abduction. And I want to tell.
So what you are saying, this kidnap is not entirely by the Ugandan secret external security. It is done in cahoots with the Kenyan security apparatus.
Yes, that is the better story. But the worst case scenario is that Ugandan security has overrun the Kenyan security. And so Martha Karua has issued a statement before this that the people kidnapping citizens in Kenya are Ugandan security operatives. Others are from Congo, probably the M23, and others are from Burundi. The pattern is very clear. The Great Lake so-called Pan-Africanism is about abducting citizens.
But are you sending some kind of a protest note against the Kenyan government, or the Kenyan government is entirely saying we do not know?
You see, when you're dealing with a rogue government, very rogue. This happened 2 months ago when our 36 Kisumu people were kidnapped in Kisumu. Governor Anyang' put up a protest. We also put up a protest to the High Commission here, but they are inert. They have again gone ahead. I think they've been overrun. Really, they've been overrun by the Uganda security. It's like the Uganda security is in charge of Kenya now. It has overrun Kenya too. And so, it's not surprising that a so-called government in Kenya has no clue what's happening on its territory.
Okay,
what we have here,
yes,
Tamara, is that as an East African territory, we are going to face a state of insecurity that surpasses what we've seen before. Because the mutual interest of silencing citizens, of capturing state power, is shared by these two rogue things called government. And so it's not just about Dr. Besigye. Dr. Besigye is just a trigger. More of you, more of us all will face what is facing Dr. Besigye and Kisumu 36.
All right.
The Gen Zs, the Gen Zs in Kenya are being abducted and kidnapped.
Okay, hold on to your point, Honorable.
Religious leaders are going to be kidnapped.
All right, Honorable Salam, hold on to your point there. I should say also, Mr. Godbert Mushabe has been listening to you from the beginning, and also have been joined by Mr. Moses Biarhanga, Senior Presidential Advisor. Probably you'd also want to hear what they have to say. And Godbert, you've listened to Honorable Salam Musomba putting together what she knows, and she's been at the Makindi. What do you make of all this scenario?
I mean, for me, this is probably yes. Sometimes when this regime, when you think they have gone solo, they always find another depth to which they go. It's always very, very quite fascinating that you can have a country that is as beautiful, with very, very decent people, with humble people. Then sometimes I feel like maybe God is really very unfair, that we shouldn't be under a regime like this one. Because look, this situation, you can replay this back to about 1994-95. You remember when Ugandan teachers were being harassed in Nairobi and tortured and killed. And this is more than 25 years ago. Then all of a sudden now, almost 25 years later, you have a Ugandan citizen who is on a private mission to Kenya, and he's kidnapped and evacuated and brought to Uganda and charged in a military court martial. And what I found interesting even is that the permanent secretary of Kenya, of the Kenyan foreign ministry, basically said no, they don't know anything about the arrest. And I'm like, but how is this possible? That because you see, when you have a situation like this one, if you are the Minister of Foreign Affairs, you either plead ignorance, that you don't know anything, therefore you are incompetent, or you would actually, if you were not involved in the kidnap, then you are actually protesting. You are condemning and protesting. But this is a permanent Secretary Minister of Foreign Affairs. But back on the Ugandan side, I really don't know why the current regime has developed this kind of fear of citizens, because I think this is a regime that fears people. I think in the reports that came out, they said I think apparently Besigye was charged with some gentleman called Kamlega.
Yes.
They said they had 2 pistols. And I'm like, okay. I say, in as much as we are lay people, so these guys had 2 pistols and they can overthrow a regime with 2 pistols. So that's why you have to be kidnapped from a foreign country and whisked and brought back to Uganda. So the bottom line is that this kidnap of Besigye and his arraignment before the court martial is actually more symbolic, because Besigye has gone through a lot of harassment, a lot of torture, a lot of all manner of abuses. This is a gentleman who served this country diligently, fought the Bush War, made his contribution, and he basically disagreed with his colleague President Museveni and those who were in the bush, and he says this is not the way the country is going. And then because of that, you have to subject him to the highest level of inhuman degrading treatment. So when he retired from the army, he was retired by the same government, so he's a civilian, and now you have to find every reason.
Not a civilian.
What do you mean? He's a civilian? No, okay, he's a retired army officer. Okay, so he's a retired army officer, but living his in civilian life, and all of a sudden, you're saying the man is almost, when you saw the pictures coming from the court martial, that these were handling a terrorist who was probably planning to throw bombs around town, and the only evidence they have is that he had a pistol on him. So I really think that this regime is too scared of Ugandans, because all their actions, the way they operate, is like this is a regime that fears Ugandans.
Mr. Moses Biaranga, thank you so much for joining us, Moses. And I'm sure I've seen social media has gone gaga with what is happening about Dr. Besigye, and perhaps you have seen that as well. But following what you've heard from here and what probably you've read on social media, what do you know?
Well, I don't know much about...
what do you know, Moses?
I said I don't know much.
What is the little that you know?
The little is what is in social media. So you know what I know. So you know what I know. But to say that the regime fears people, that's not true. This morning when I first got to get the clue from our platform here, I inquired from some people. Later they said they were putting things together, so I wouldn't want to indulge in something I've not been well briefed about. So maybe
the gentleman who knows
later.
Yeah.
Just give us a little bit.
So I don't know much. So let's wait. I think situation will unfold much better.
You say you don't want to indulge in something.
No, which I'm not well briefed about. So I inquired from those who should know.
That says a lot, doesn't it?
From those who should know, so they were...
So according to what you've been able to gather on social media, of course, Dr. Besigye was arraigned in court, in military court. Of course, he was brought here. The family says, and friends and political acquaintances, that he was brought here on Saturday, only to appear in court today. What is that? What do you make of that even?
Well, I said I don't know. I read I saw that on our platform. There was that, I think our organizer, our producer, is the one who posted on our WhatsApp group that that tweet from Winnie Byanyima. That's when I first got to know about it. Then I got some other person contacting me about it. That's why I sent some message to inquire from some people. But when I later contacted them, they said, no, we will brief you more. So we'll brief you. So I'm waiting for a briefing. Until when I'm briefed, when I can speak.
So
I don't know.
What we know that he was arrested, he was kidnapped in Nairobi. He had been invited by Martha Karua for a book launch, sorry. And then he appears in Makindi and not even in committee.
I've read that. I've read about that. I think this was also headline in the Monitor today. This morning, I didn't read the story in the Monitor, but I saw the headline. And yes, I had news on KFM during the day that he had appeared in the military court at the military court martial.
Yes. Mr. Moses Biarhanga and Mr. God, but I must say Moses is very hard to interview this after this evening. Mr.
Moses, can we change positions and interview?
He's like walking on very
can we change and interview him?
I'm going to turn up the heat.
Okay.
The hottest debate on all.
Welcome back to 933 KFM, and this is the Hot Seat. My name is Patrick Amara. My guest tonight, I have Mr. Moses Biarhanga, Senior Presidential Advisor, and Mr. Godibert Mushabe from the Great Lakes Institute for Strategic Studies. And we're discussing the arrest, or some people have called the kidnap, of Uganda's opposition.
There can't be arrest of Besigye in Kenya. That can't be. It can't be an arrest.
Kidnap. But really, if Besigye was kidnapped, and the Kenyan Foreign Minister is saying they have no idea, there are two things. The Ugandan security apparatus in Kenya is extremely good, or it's extremely good, or they are working in cahoots with the Kenyan security apparatus, and they have been caught flat-footed.
I think you've put it properly that at the most basic level, this would be an operation between the Ugandan security and the Kenyan security. So, in other words, the Kenyan security would be fully aware and would have enabled this kind of operation. And if the Kenyan security is able to do something like that, you are actually looking at another rogue regime across the border. Because for this, Kenya is reasonably an emerging democracy. I am sure that they have the Kenyan institutions, at least they work. So if they had any cases, or if the government of Uganda had any complaint against Besigye, I'm sure that they should have asked their Kenyan counterparts. Say we have this person is being pursued, and the Kenyan security could have arrested him, and so that they can go through formal extradition proceedings. And if he was engaged in any crimes, I mean that's why there is extradition arrangement between countries. So that is how normal governments would operate. In the circumstances, it is clear that the Ugandan security abducted Besigye from Kenya, and still they must have been enabled by the Kenyan security. Because I would hate to imagine that Ugandan security can sneak into Kenya, kidnap a citizen who is visiting officially, who is not a wanted criminal, and they just abduct him without the knowledge of the Kenyan security, because that would mean that really the Kenyan security is. If that happened ordinarily in a normal government, probably some people would have lost their jobs. You seem to have quoted
Martha Karua saying exactly that. Martha Karua seems to have said exactly that foreign agents are operating in Kenya almost at free will.
I'm assuming
not to have accused the government of taking part.
No, I mean, I'm assuming that Martha Karua probably knows more than some of us do, because she's Kenyan and she's a senior politician there. But I would still, my analysis would be that even if we had Ugandan security agents operating in Kenya, that they are able to conduct an operation of this nature without the knowledge of the Kenyan security, and they are able to bring Besigye across the border, whether by air or by road, that would really be, we would take hats off for the Ugandan security operatives. But if that happened, then we would be expecting that the Kenyan government would be protesting because this would be the highest violation of the Kenyan Kenyan sovereignty. If the Ugandan security operatives were to operate in Kenya freely and start abducting people, that's what other form of violation of the national sovereignty would you want to see?
Mr. Moses Biarhanga, Dr. Besigye is a Ugandan citizen. What has happened to him in Nairobi? What should we be expecting under normal circumstances for the Kenyan's foreign secretary to be saying?
I can't speak for Kenya.
Now, what should we expect from them as Ugandans?
If it happened in Uganda,
he's a Ugandan citizen in Kenya. What do you, as a senior political advisor to the president, if a Ugandan is treated that way, what would you demand of Kenya to do?
It wouldn't happen in Uganda.
No, it has happened to a Ugandan.
It wouldn't happen in Uganda. Simple.
And if it happened,
do it.
It has happened to a Ugandan in Kenya.
Yeah.
What would a Ugandan government be demanding from Kenya about the citizen?
No, you are saying if a Kenya was...
a Ugandan citizen has been abducted in Kenya. Doesn't that... Well, anyway, abducted by a government, so you cannot be
abducted by him.
Abducted by you.
Yes. Abducted
So
by
what do you want with the man?
Let's wait for the court-martial process to unfold and see the reasons why he's arrested. So we were asking me to talk about Kenya. I wouldn't talk for Kenya, the sovereign state, the sovereign government. So I don't know what happened there.
But you
violated
realize, Moses, that when something like this happens, it puts the lives of other Ugandan officials, NRM or anybody in Nairobi at risk. That any country that wants you can actually pick you out of Nairobi.
Why would it want you? Unless you are doing something wrong. If you're doing something right,
well, we've seen an innocent man has been picked, so another innocent man can be picked.
Well, the innocence should be, and as I said, the case has been brought to court, so the innocence or lack of it, we shall know.
But at the moment, you don't think he's an innocent man?
Well, I have no details.
You suspect him of anything?
Not me.
Does your government suspect him of anything?
Not me, the person.
But your government does?
The fact that he's being charged, definitely those charging him are suspecting him or know what he has done.
This is a man whom, at one point, the government of Uganda arrested him almost 50 times in 1 year and never found him guilty of anything.
Sure.
So this is how you do?
No.
You arrest people 50 times in 1 year and you don't find them guilty of anything?
No, first of all, I know some of the times the Kizza Besigye has been arrested of trying to cause...
Of rape or
trying to cause commotion, havoc.
None of those cases have...
No. You see, what they call preventive arrest. They have in many occasions, on some occasions, when they will be taken to Nakalama and so on and so forth, the issues would be they are planning a demonstration, something like that, I don't know the one to use, to nip it in the nub.
Nip it in the bud.
Snip it in the bud, and they get Besigye out of saturation. The situation goes down and bring him back down. So it's not that he's going to be, because the police has a duty.
So now he was going to cause it in Kenya?
Well, the police has a duty. No, about Kenya, I said I don't have details. He's asking me about the past. So I don't know about Kenya. The police has a duty to prevent crime. So if they suspect that Kamara wants to hang himself, they can get hold of Kamara until they think the situation has cooled down, and you can say Kamara has been arrested. But if they think Kamara wants to end his life, they will get Kamara, get him out of
in the case of Besigye, what offense?
In most of the cases in the past, that's what
offense was that even?
No, it's not an offense. That's why it's not an offense. But if you are trying to prevent commission of a crime, and if you know something is going to happen, you can stop it from happening by doing so. And that's what they have been doing in the past. But as of what is being charged in the court-martial, I don't have details.
Well, he's been charged of possession of firearms, 2 pistols, him and his colleague. But there was a time also when Bobby Wine was charged of having the AK-47 in his hotel room in Arua, and the case again collapsed just like that.
No, actually, the military which was accusing him stole the guns and the ammunition. They disappeared.
The guns are nowhere to be seen.
They have nowhere to be seen. But also this thing. So Moses also sometimes You are really bad. Eh? Because when we talk about here and we talk about the things of the president, PDA, Myoga, whatever, you see how Moses talk very confidently.
Because they have the information.
Yeah?
Because they have all the information.
So where do you get it from? Where can't you get the one that is concerning Ugandans? Because you are a senior presidential advisor on political affairs. This gentleman is a leader of a political party.
Yes.
In fact, you should not even have come to this program.
No,
without coming with full information.
Listen.
To be able to inform Ugandans of what is happening.
Benefits of the listeners.
Yeah.
Listen.
Because that's our advantage to have you here.
On those programs like PDM and so forth, I have all the information it requires to
because
be
they're political.
given out. Not only they're political, those are in our manifesto. I was on the manifesto drafting committee. So when you come to talk about the programs we're implementing, first of all, I may not have all the facts, but with time, I contacted the relevant implementing agencies and get to know all the information firsthand. So I told you earlier that yes, I got to know about this case this morning. Later, somebody else contacted me about it, and I knew it on our KFM panels, chat platform. So when I got to know about it. So I made inquiries.
During a break, we're going to be tasking to make more inquiries.
No, I made inquiries.
You're going to make more calls.
No.
We need to make more calls.
Listen. I made inquiries and I have not been well briefed. That's what I said. So I don't want to.
No, you're going to get the briefing.
So I don't want to diverge into something I don't have enough information about. But if it was anything to do with the PDM or any other government program, addressing a message or any other person is not a government program. Which is stated in the manifesto. But if you had anything in the manifesto,
by the way.
If there was anything in the manifesto you ask me about, I'll give you an answer.
No, by the way, there are manifestos which are written. There are some components that are written, and then there are those that are written. So in President Museveni's inauguration speech at the start of this term, that's where he basically said he was going to finish up the opposition. And so you can clearly see that the trajectory there, in terms of if you are talking about manifesto implementation.
But that one also shouldn't stop. Well, it shouldn't mean that political leaders cannot be found on the wrong side of the law.
I think Moses, I don't even have issues of anybody like Besigye or others being arrested. I think it's improper.
The method.
Yeah, it's improper. It's wrong for our security forces to follow Besigye to Kenya, a person who traveled because he didn't sneak out of the country. I'm sure he traveled.
I have a feeling maybe even the Kenyan Ugandan security was not even there at all.
Like Salam Musumba said, he traveled from here. Salam Musumba gave us the time for his Salam.
Oh, Salam.
Yeah. Salam. Yeah, she gave us the time of his departure. So even the immigration at Entebbe know that Besigye went to Kenya. I am not sure that he had said he was going to exile, that you can follow him to be able to kidnap him from Kenya and bring him back. That's done by rogue regimes. These people, these NRM people, Museveni and his group, basically they tell us they went to the bush to fight these kind of vices. All of a sudden they have replayed almost the whole of 1970 and they are in 1985, and it's really that's the crisis that we face as a country, and I think every peace-loving Ugandan, including people like Moses, who are the some of the guys that still have the conscience in the regime, they need to condemn something like this, not to explain it away.
Mr. Godbert Mushabe and Mr. Moses Biaranga, gentlemen, we're going to take a break and the hot seat will be right back. Welcome back to 933 KFM, and this is the Hot Seat. My name is Patrick Amara. My guest this evening, Mr. Moses Biaranga, Senior Presidential Advisor, and Mr. Godbert Mushabe from the Great Lakes Institute for Strategic Studies. By the way, Professor could not make it because the jam in Kampala to this evening has been insane, bumper to bumper, and vehicles even not moving. Moses did not make the call, by the way. And my producer, Mr. Stephen Mbide, is shifting the gears. How did NRM lose to NRM and Kisoro, Moses?
Well, that's the biggest challenge we have in the party is how to organize credible primaries You see, the voting is supposed to be at village level. Unlike in the national election where there's some electronic register and so on and so forth. So sometimes when people, so that has been a challenge. That's why you have so many independents. I think we have about 70 or so in Parliament. And out of those 60 could be NRM leaning. And they say, well, we didn't, well, maybe the primary election didn't go well, so we thought the people were strong within the population, so they go and stand. So this is what happened in Kisoro. These were NRM people. This the one who went through Ngavirano, who participated in the NRM primaries. The other one who defeated her in quotes, Rose Kabajenyi. I think the win was around 700 votes, something like that. So this one thought that the election was not that fair, and she went out to campaign as independent. So the constitution allows independence, independent candidates, so it's part of the democratic process. For me, the most important thing is not about whether the flag bearer lost. The most important thing is that the will of the people come out. So if the people
but Moses, that also confirms, Moses, that the primary were rigged for Kabageni and of the primary of NRM. Does it not confirm the irregularities?
I've told you it's organizing a good credible primary election is a challenge to NRM. Unlike the National Electoral Commission, where you have because at first we started.
Was it a challenge or the woman was cheated?
It's a challenge.
Moses, why don't you use the right word? She was cheated in the primaries.
I studied English and English literature. I said that's a challenge. Now you have your own opinion. You're entitled to it. I'm entitled to mine.
I was going to say, I wanted to get a proper.
You're entitled. There's nothing proper. What is proper is what I'm on my side. What I'm telling you. That what you could have something else proper to your side. That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. So I'm saying there is a challenge in organizing. Unlike the National Electoral Commission, which has electronic registers and blah blah blah. So with a lot of funds to organize the election, so we budget almost close to $1 trillion in 2 financial years to organizing the national election. So when you are organizing internal elections, there are challenges. I mean, I've told you that it's about 70 of independents in the parliament, and 60 of them could be NRM. They vote with NRM. So where we have those challenges and people come out as independents, it's all right because at least the people, the voter, no, there was a problem here. We have gone ahead and elected the person we thought who was right. There are some cases where independents have stood and lost to the flag bearers. So with time, remember recently was the cleaning up of the NRM register. We started earlier. It was electoral college voting. We said no, one man, one vote. And that one, it's a challenge.
If you have 70 or 60% of all independents, if you have 70 or 60% of all independents in Parliament being NRM leaning, then that's a broken system.
It's not a broken system. It's not. It's not a broken system. I've told you.
Why are you laughing?
I've told you. The Parliament of 500 has about 70 independents. 6 of them are NRM leaning. So it means the others, about 300 NRM members, came out smoothly.
I'm seeing how Moses is struggling. He's struggling because you see, like I have said before here, that NRM is a corruption enterprise. Everything that they do there is rigging and stealing and fraud. That's how they, even the election, that's how they run it. And you know, I think the one of 2006 or the one of the primaries of 2006 were more violent, almost more than the national elections. So of course it's very easy. Normally for people who are just, it is very easy to explain problems. But normally what you want is people who solve problems. When you have a political party, was a group that claims to be a political party, and it is the one running the country, and it cannot organize its own internal elections, it basically shows you how it organizes a fraudulent national election. Because even the Electoral Commission, the National Electoral Commission is talking about You saw the videos that were coming from Kisoro. People there openly.
Those videos were fake.
Okay, so let's say they are fake, but we know the ones where these police officers and soldiers were arrested with ticked ballot papers, and they were being
you posted that video on our platform, and later it emerged that video had happened in, I think, in Hoimor Masindi many years ago. So please.
Where? So
please.
The whole thing is...
So it has, but it has happened.
No.
But it has happened, isn't it?
Now, you are the one who is fake now.
But has it happened or not?
Because if you are posting fake news to say now, this is what's happening in Kisoro, and now you are bringing it back. I'm sorry.
So where did it happen?
You should apologize to the Ugandans that,
where did it happen?
That you were circulating fake videos to show that there's a problem in Kisoro where there was none.
You see, in fact, the NRM is the one which provides the basis for the fake news, because I've told you here time and again that in our constituency, in Nyachera, your people, the security people and NRM people, ticked our ballot papers. By 1 p.m. they had finished ticking all our ballot papers. They voted for everybody there, and so Moses, you are lucky. You are lucky that Ugandans, you've subjected Ugandans to extreme violence. But otherwise, you people, you would be beaten thoroughly.
So wait a minute.
In Nyachera, at Kafunjo polling station, my own aunt, who was then 78 years, walked for 2 kilometers. Our polling station is about 2 kilometers away from our place. He walked and reached there at 1 p.m. and she was told, "Mama, don't worry, everything has been sorted." And then I found out that in the entire constituency, they actually ticked the ballot papers.
If you can post a fake video on a platform, like where people like me and Kamara and others are, and you claim that is what is happening in Kisoro this morning, because you posted around 6 a.m. or something, at least before 7, you posted it and claimed this was in Kisoro. And it is proved to be fake. It was
fake?
Wait, it was not in Kisoro. Whatever was there, it could have been stage managed, but it was not in Kisoro. Now
it was stage managed.
Wait, I said it was not in Kisoro. That has been proved. Even the police has given a statement.
So the fakeness is because it was not in Kisoro.
Wait. So I cannot believe what you're talking about your auntie. If the very person posting a fake video saying you see what's happening in Kisoro, how can I now believe you that the story you're saying about your aunt is true?
But are you saying the fakeness is because it was not in Kisoro or what?
I said you posted something and telling us, intelligent people, that see what's happening in Kisoro. And in fact, you didn't even forward. You posted it as if it was yours, as if you have captured it yourself. Because a forwarded message.
No, you don't know forwarded message.
It was no. A forwarded message is a forwarded message.
When Moses is cornered, that's how he behaves. Nobody.
A forwarded message.
This is going for the jugular.
Listen. No,
but was that video AI generated? Was it AI generated?
Wherever you got it from, you tell us.
Was it Ugandan?
Can you tell us here that you posted a fake video?
No, was it Ugandan? Was it in Uganda?
If you posted a fake video,
was that video
on Kisoro,
captured?
I cannot believe you that that's what you're talking about.
Okay, so let me ask you: in 2021, the UPDF arrested Bobby Wine in Arua. They said they found him with guns in a hotel. They prosecuted him, and they showed us the gun. They organized even a press conference, and showed us the guns that they found him with, and then they failed to prosecute him. Were they fake or not?
Do you remember the sort of candidate? You see, people can use pictures for different.
No, but were the UPDF fake or not?
I remember so many years ago.
We have the latest one. The chairman of the party said he was cheated 1 million votes. Was that thing true? Was it cheated?
Is that fake or not?
He said it.
Was he cheated 1 million?
He said it. Yes.
Did he report to police?
Well, he got to know it much later. It was not inconsequential.
No, it's not consequential. It's a crime. When you still vote, it's a crime.
You believe that NRM was cheated 1 million votes?
Yes, he believes it. It was.
Gentlemen, we're going to take Okay, well, Professor thinks we can move on until towards the end. So now, but Moses, really, okay, let's leave the ping pong of accusation. Did it happen or did not happen? The issue of electoral malpractice in Uganda is really serious.
You see,
it's a serious issue.
It's a serious matter. That's why even when Godba posted that fake video of his on our platform, on other platforms, I pointed out, there are measures to ensure electoral malpractices are curbed down, especially on polling day. One of them is all the voters, at least a section of them, including the agents of all candidates, should be at the polling station before 7 a.m. because that's 7 is when the polling starts. So the electoral officer, the presiding officer at the polling station, is supposed to open the ballot box and show it to the people that in this ballot box there's nothing in it. Close it, put it where the people are supposed to throw in their ballots. That's why we even moved from a text register to a photographic register, so that when you come and say, I'm Patrick Kamara, with your ID, even though you don't have your ID, at least your photo is in the register. And all the agents are entitled to the register, so that if you say Patrick Kamara, they can look at your face and check and say, oh, this is Patrick Kamara, can you please give him a ballot? Now, if so that process should go on for the whole day. At 4 p.m., they are supposed to stop voting. These new people coming in from outside the line. If the people already in the line, they are allowed to vote until they finish. When they finish, all the agents are there. They open the ballot box and start counting the ballots. And then know at this polling station, so and so has received these votes. They sign the declaration form. It's supposed to have results of all the candidates that who participated in the election. So you, the candidate, you are supposed to have a mechanism of obtaining those DR forms, these are declaration forms, back at your station. So when they're going to the tally center for tallying, you say, I remember it happened sometime in Mukono. They had Hajati Mukwaya, they had declared wrong results, while her agents had different results. She went to the Electoral Commission during the time of the late Aziz Kasuja and said, but all my DR forms are showing this. The returning officer in Mukono has announced different results, and the results were changed in her favor because she was right. Somebody had done a malpractice. So, if that process is fall to the latter, and if somebody tampers with it, and you have evidence that yes, maybe at the time of opening the ballot box, we're not there, people are not there, we found people were just voting, all this thing of stuffed ballot. That's why the court system. And in many cases, in many cases, the courts where people have had enough evidence of what has transpired and is contrary to the process I've explained, courts have declared the
president's claim that he was cheated 1 million votes is true. What does that tell you of the Electoral Commission?
Well, now the bigger issue is how was that done? The Electoral Commission must be able to account for that. How does somebody cheat and those results are accounted? Because you see, and that even shows you that the Electoral Commission is independent, because if it were not running it directly, that wouldn't happen. But you put trust in them, and in that trust...
If they can preside over an election where 1 million votes are actually cheated from the incumbent...
Not cheated,
stolen. How can that be, Electoral Commission be allowed to continue working?
Well... you can, and the whole issue is the president has made the claim. It has been passed on to the Electoral Commission to see the processes, to ensure that that thing doesn't happen again. Because now he didn't go to court. If now is the court decision, that will be a different matter.
But now, chief executive of the country, he has lost one. He has been stolen 1 million votes from him, and he sits down and becomes quiet. Really,
no, he hasn't kept quiet. He hasn't kept quiet.
Yeah, but he should be. The head should roll at the Electoral Commission.
You wait. He hasn't kept quiet. By the way, it is being followed up to the land. As you said in the media, watch this space. Watch the space.
No, actually, for me, Museveni's normally complaining tells you the brokenness of our electoral system, because you see, this was not his first time to complain. Because you remember the time when Brendan Abukenya was elected in Rowero, he wrote a long missive showing how his votes were, the votes of his candidate were stolen, and he's the president. And he commands the police. He commands all the investigative arms of the state. And so then he comes all of a sudden now 2 years, 3 years later after elections, says 1 million of my votes were stolen. So you begin to see the president really a president who is almost out of control. He knows that probably he has lost control of the real running of these operations, because otherwise it's a normal for a president who normally even likes referring himself to commander-in-chief to be going there in public and complaining as if he's an ordinary citizen. Because normally a president is a president. If the electoral commission has done things that have basically undermined and almost stolen the sovereignty of Uganda, because that vote is the expression of citizenship and sovereignty of you as a Ugandan. And you, the president, you are basically elected and taken an oath to protect and defend the constitution, defend the sovereignty of Uganda, including of the citizens. And then you come and then you are also complaining like an everyday person, like Mnyagwa Mbaraka would say. You're also complaining like an everyday person. And then you want to be taken seriously. Otherwise, and then the president even complains, and then there's a guy who is the chairman of the electoral commission, who is supposed to be a judge of the High Court, and
Appeal Court.
The Court of Appeal, and then you are there, you are like helpless, because if I was chairman of Yabakam, and a president says that his 1 million votes were stolen under my leadership, I should be resigning.
Okay, gentlemen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give each one of you a minute and a half to make your concluding remarks. And let me begin with you, Mr. Moses Biaranga. What's going to be your parting shot?
Well, my parting shot is that on the electoral processes, we need to be more vigilant. The process, if you look at electoral roadmaps of the past elections and the coming election, if we follow all those steps and stages to the latter, for instance, like when the time comes for display of registers, where new voters who have turned 18 are supposed to be registered, and so forth, where demarcation of polling stations. Many people tend to not follow those. Then it comes election day, somebody says, where am I supposed to vote from? I went to the polling station every last time, then they have changed it to another place. Then start blaming the electoral commission sometimes, while you didn't follow, or even the parties didn't take keen interest in those processes. So I call upon Ugandans. We as Ugandans, we have the right to ensure a credible election if we follow all the processes within the law and the time framework given to us. We can have a very good election.
Mr. Godbertin Shaw, your concluding remark.
Two things. First of all, on the elections, I'm very, very convinced that we cannot have a free, fair, and credible election under the NRM, because NRM is inherently a rigger of elections, as evidenced in its primaries. They can't rig their primaries and fail to rig the national elections. Finally, I really want to unequivocally condemn the Kenyan authorities for allowing what happened in Kenya. That whatever the method that was used, that a Ugandan citizen who was traveling on his private mission is kidnapped and smuggled out of Kenya and to be tried in Uganda. A sovereign country like Kenya should be able to engage with a sovereign country like Uganda and say there are certain things that should be followed as a matter of law. And the fact that these countries are members of the East African community, there should be no circumstances under which we should have a citizen of any of these countries being kidnapped and smuggled out of any of the jurisdictions, and then we think that we are serious governments.
Mr. Godba Tumushabe from the Great Lakes Institute for Strategic Studies, thank you. Moses, you just have one.
You see, when there, you see, why are there skirmishes during NRM primaries? It is because in many cases, when you win an NRM primary, you are an MP. That's why the struggle in the NRM primaries, it tends to be much stronger, intense.
But
than in the national
what you are saying, we shouldn't.
No, when you win an NRM primary, the institutions of state rig for you.
And God bless Uganda.